Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Um, just wanted to give you this quick video. Tomorrow here in Arizona, we are doing indoor girls club tryouts. Um, it's going to be a pretty stressful time, so I wanted to give you a few tips that's going to help you stand out while you are on the court. So, first tip, make sure you introduce yourself to every single coach that you are trying out for. So at the very beginning, even if you think they know your name, go up, introduce yourself anyway. So go up and say, "Hey, it's Jessica. How you doing today, coach?" And then just say, "I'm excited for tryouts, and I'm excited to be here." And then make sure that you're doing this for each team. So depending on the club you go to, most of the clubs are going to do it where if you want to try out for the number one team, the travel teams, you'll start on those travel courts. And if you don't make that team, then you'll just keep moving to a different team. So you want to make sure that you introduce yourself to each coach. That way, it puts you in their brain from the very beginning. You don't want them to overlook you. So you want to be in their mind from the very beginning. So go up, introduce yourself to every single coach that you could possibly be playing for. And that goes for each tier. So as you move to a different court or to a different team, introduce yourself so they see you and they know who you are. Next tip is going to be make sure you have a good attitude. So have a good attitude with all of the players on the court. Um, so many times, a good player that has a bad attitude can spiral that team out of control so quick, and it can just make them fall so far just because of that attitude. You don't want to be that player. You don't want to show the coach at the very beginning that, hey, I'm going to be difficult to work with. So make sure you have that good attitude, whether you're playing, somebody else is playing, or whether they did bad or whether you did bad. Make sure that you're staying positive and that you're trying to uplift the rest of the team. Okay, so be the player that everybody else wants to be a teammate for. There have been instances where I have had multiple players that have all had very similar skill levels, and the tipping point was one of them came and introduced themselves at the very beginning, and that put a positive implant into my brain for the whole rest of the tryouts. So make sure that you're going up, getting that positive implant right away. Next tip, make sure you are coachable. So if a coach asks you to do something or change something, it's because they see something wrong and they want you to get better. So you need to try to implement that as soon as you can, even if you start messing up. So if something's going on with your hitting approach or your timing, and the coach asks you to change something, start changing it, even though you're not going to be doing it very well. And this is going to show the coach that you are willing to make changes and you're willing to stick with it and do what they ask you to do. So be coachable, do what they ask, have a good attitude about that, and try to implement it right away. Don't go back to do what you were doing before. Keep doing what they ask, even if you mess up. That is going to allow them to see you be coachable, and they are going to then be able to say, you know what, they're not doing a very good job with this new technique that I gave them, but they're trying to do it, and I like that. Hey, next tip, make sure that coach notices you throughout the tryouts. So if there is a drill that you are really good at, whatever skill it is, go to the coach and say something specific to them to watch or pay attention to. Okay, because as coaches, we're watching everybody. Sometimes we're going to miss things that you do really, really well, but then we'll see things that you do poorly. So make sure that the good things you are making sure that we notice. So for example, so if it was a drill where we're working on a front row attack, then we would want to approach the coach before that drill and say, hey, coach, can you look at my footwork on my approach and see if I'm doing anything wrong? Okay, even if you know you're not doing anything wrong, it lets the coach know that that they need to watch you for something and they're going to be giving you feedback. Okay, so it's not just another player that they're watching, they're actually looking to give you feedback after that comment from you. Okay, so after it happens, or actually, sorry, before it happens, if you're in line, make sure that the coach pays attention. Okay, yell, hey, coach, if there's one person ahead of you, that way they turn, they notice you, and that they're able to watch. Okay, so get their attention before you do it. That way, as soon as you're done, come right up to them, ask for that feedback. That way it's fresh in their mind and they're able to, and since you already asked prior, they're ready to give you feedback. Okay. So ask before, get their attention before, and then come right back for that feedback. Okay. Then go shag your ball, get back in the drill. Okay. This allows them to process what you're doing and see what you're doing really, really well. Next one is going to be aggressive and be vocal on the court. Okay? If you're out there and you're making mistakes because you're playing timid, that's you're making mistakes basically because you're afraid you're going to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Go out there, be confident, be aggressive. If you make a mistake but you give your best and you're playing confidently and you're being aggressive and you're making a mistake, that's a good thing to have happen. Okay, because it's showing that you're willing to put effort into something. But if you're being really timid and you start to make a play but then you pull away last second because you're afraid you're going to mess it up, well then that's going to be a bad mistake. Okay, don't play timid. Okay, be aggressive, be confident, and then make sure that you're being vocal while you're doing it. So even if you make the wrong call, if you're being vocal and you say tip when the attack is really, an angled hit, at least you're being communicative, at least you're talking and you're being vocal. Okay, so make aggressive mistakes, both physically and vocally. All right, that's going to do it for this video. See you tomorrow, and good luck.